Now, we're going to catch back up with Andrea Donsky to talk about a good night's sleep, which is super important. Andrea, earlier in the show, you shared all of the things we should do in order to help us go to bed with ease, but there are also things we shouldn't do. What sorts of things are those?
Well, Tracy, like we talked about in the first segment, it's really important that we set ourselves up for sleep success. So one of the main things that we absolutely should not be doing is being on our devices within an hour of going to bed. And the reason why is because it emits blue light, and the blue light can help keep us awake. And it also stops us from releasing our melatonin at night. One of the things that I've been doing is I've been using my blue blocking glasses. Now I have to tell you, these work really well at keeping that blue light out and helping me fall asleep better, because I have been staying up late, guilty, watching movies pretty late, and then by the time I'm ready to go to bed, I'm having a hard time falling asleep.
I've got the blue blockers too. They do an excellent job. So that's a good tip, but I don't think I'm gonna like what you have to say next. What's your next tip?
You know, I did have you in mind when I was talking about this, and I know you're not going to be happy, but in self-isolation, we are drinking a lot more alcohol than we normally do, but unfortunately, alcohol does have a negative impact on sleep. Now, it might help us fall asleep better, but as our body metabolizes the alcohol, it'll actually make us wake up in the middle of the night. Now, the other reason why alcohol isn't great for sleep is because it suppresses our REM sleep. REM sleep is that restorative dream state that takes place about 90 minutes after we fall asleep. So if you do want to have a good night's sleep, I'm going to have to ask you to put down the wine at least before bed.
You know what's funny? As I get older, my tolerance to wine is getting smaller and smaller, and I find that I have the worst sleeps if I have wine in the evening. As a matter of fact, my cutoff is like 12 noon. I should really only have wine at like 8 a.m., but we know we're not going to do that. I don't have a problem. But late at night and evenings, I cannot do the wine. Really, it's once a week for me, and that's the only way for me to sort of keep it so that it's under control and it's really a treat. The next thing I want to talk about is coffee. So a lot of people have used this time to actually stop drinking coffee completely because they're feeling they don't have that hustle bustle that we usually have. Now, if you still want to have coffee, like I do, is there a certain time of day that you just need to stop drinking it?
I mean, for the most part, you really want to stop drinking it after 5 p.m. Now, some of us can metabolize caffeine genetically really quickly, but others cannot. So if you do have a problem with caffeine and you know that because you're lying in bed and you cannot fall asleep, make sure that you don't drink it after 5 p.m. But even better, stop drinking or eating anything with caffeine at least 6 hours before going to bed.
That's a good rule of thumb. The other thing to think about is not having too heavy a meal late at night. Am I right?
Oh my gosh, this is, aside from the blue light that's emitted from our devices and turning that off before we go to bed at least an hour, don't go to bed on a full stomach. And I'm talking about not a snack, I'm talking about don't eat a full course meal before bed. And the reason why is because you're going to toss and turn in your bed all night long. Also, some people say they have bad dreams or nightmares if they go to sleep on a full stomach.
Interesting. Okay, now working out is another tip that we're going to talk about, and I like to get my workouts out in the morning, but a lot of people don't. They don't want to wake up early. That's not their best time of day to get it in. Can you work out in the evenings, or what do you need to think about if you are working out in the evenings?
So you absolutely can work out in the evening. Now, some people have no issue with the adrenaline rush. So some people are more sensitive and some people are not. So if you're not sensitive to the adrenaline rush, no problem. Work out, and then if you can fall asleep, that's amazing. But if you are sensitive, instead of doing aerobic activity at night, try working out in the morning, or try changing up your exercise. For example, do something that's more restorative like yoga and stretching.
I love it. Such great tips and so crucial for us to go to sleep at night. Awesome advice, Andrea.